In my regular schedule, I teach 20 classes and lead 4 rehearsals a week. That is a lot of vocal hype. And I won't even lie, I had no idea how to take care of my voice. I've lived 30 years, I have never had a vocal issue in that time, and all of a sudden, everything caught up to me. So last month I started experiencing hoarseness, a ton of vocal fatigue. I lost like an entire chunk of my vocal range just speaking, and I went to my ENT and she told me that my vocal cords were incredibly dry and that I had the beginnings of vocal nodules. I was a freaking mess. I was scared. I've never had even a tiny vocal issue before, and I'm definitely still not 100%. Now at least I feel like I have the tools to get healthier and stronger and even better than before. To be honest, guys, I was a dumbass. A lot of these tips that I'm gonna share with you are really common sense, but I didn't do any of them. So I just wanna stress that if you use your voice constantly on a daily basis, whether you are in the fitness field or whether you're a performer, a teacher, whatever it might be, these are all really, really important things to implement into your self-care routine. So if you are a dumbass like me, keep on watching. All right, I couldn't figure out a way to not say this sentence in a gross way, but you gotta keep those vocal cords moist and lubricated. Ew. I will be the first to admit it, I don't drink enough water. Actually, I think my husband will be the first to admit it. He tells me that all the time. I haven't drunk enough water in years. I don't know the reason. It's probably laziness. So you have to make sure you're drinking enough water. To make it fun, I don't know why, but drinking things is always way more enticing to me when I'm drinking it out of a straw. It's kind of easier. So yeah, I think I was just really freaking lazy before. Fun water bottles. I've seen these ones where you can actually like measure out with little rings, like how much water you've drank based off of your goal for that day. I have this big mason jar that I really like to use at home because it's very satisfying when I actually like drain the whole thing. And then you can either use an app to track your water, which is fun, or if you have a bullet journal, this is a way that you can implement that as well. Other hydrating tips, you can implement some soups, smoothies. Decaf tea is always a good option. I really like throat health. There are these like little tea balls that when you boil them, they look like aliens, but I got them in Chinatown and they're supposed to be really good for your voice. And then at the end of the day, you've really got to start to limit your caffeine and alcohol intake. I drink too much coffee. I've actually started to limit myself to 0 to 1 cups a day, and that has really, really helped. And then as far as alcohol goes, I've really just started to be a little bit stricter about drinking the night before I have to teach at 6 a.m. You know, that was something that I could always feel the difference in my voice. If I was super dried out from the night before, then I wasn't having a good vocal morning. So it's little things like that that will set you up for hydration success. I never thought about it this way until my friend explained it to me. Your vocal cords are a muscle, just like everything else on your body. So it's just gotta rest sometimes. Once she put it like that, because I work in fitness and I am always giving my body rest days throughout the week, it really clicked with me that I wasn't giving my voice any kind of rest. You know, I'm the type of person, once again, my husband always tells me, he's like, why are you screaming? Why are you so loud? Why are you talking so much? Why are you belting around the apartment? Because I love to. And again, I've never had a vocal issue, but I was never taking the time to rest. So because I'm so vocally active at my jobs throughout the week, I need to make sure that in my downtime at home, I'm shutting up. So what I've started to do, I have Tuesdays pretty much completely off. So I try and take that day as a full vocal rest day. Maybe I'll talk here and there little bits. Maybe I'll do some like lip trills or, you know, some humming into a straw just to keep my voice active, but I'm not belting Defying Gravity for fun around the apartment. Now, even if you can't commit to an entire day of vocal rest, don't underestimate those big chunks that you can take. So if you can take 3 hours on this day, 5 hours on this day, 1 hour on this day, just to shut up, it's really actually gonna add up in the long run. Whew, this was a big one, and my ENT was really firm with me on this. And once again, Kevin's getting a big old shout out in this video because these are all things he's been telling me for years. But I just don't like to listen to him, apparently. You gotta stop clearing your throat. I will say I actually didn't develop this habit until earlier this year. I had pneumonia. It was actually like really bad. But basically what happened, the doctors think what happened was that I got the flu, but then I didn't go to see anyone for 14 days. And I was working full time and didn't rest at all. But you can't really like test for the flu after a certain point, apparently. I don't know. And they said that they think that the flu like turned into pneumonia. But basically after, I will say that I vocally have not been the same, and so I started clearing my throat. And basically when you do that, you're just like mashing your vocal cords together. So what my ENT told me, she was like, you've literally done it 20 times since you've been in this room, and here's what you need to do instead. Take a sip of water. And I was like, well, what if I still feel phlegm? And she's like, all right, if you still feel phlegm, you give one and then you're done. She's like, nothing else. One good cough and then you're done. Stop clearing your throat. She was like really firm with me. So that is a huge, huge thing that will help save your voice. Another thing for anyone who is a fitness instructor or people who speak in front of large groups, you gotta use a mic. I actually bought myself my own little mic, which I will link below in case anybody wants to buy it. It's like $30 on Amazon. It works great. But this is a really big help. You know, even though I trained vocally and went to school for theater, your voice can only take so much. So even if I am projecting in a healthy way, I can't do that for 30 hours a week and not have consequences. And then another habit you wanna get into is just some simple vocal warm-ups before you go to teach, especially if it's in the morning. So I talked about these two things earlier, but some lip trills, humming into a straw is really good. So these are just some great exercises to get your voice warmed up the same way that you would warm up the rest of your body before you start going into actual movement. Having a humidifier in your bedroom, especially in the winter right now, it is so dry from the heat turning on in our apartments. In New York City, just the air is really dry right now. It's not very humid at the moment. So if you can make your environment really humid, it's gonna help with that a lot. Definitely invest in a personal steamer. You can go like super bougie and get a Pure Mist. Shout out to my friend Lisa who let me borrow hers for the past month and a half. You can go to CVS and get like the Vicks one, which I think are 20 bucks maybe. Or you can actually just boil a pot of water, put your head under a towel, and then breathe in deeply for 10 minutes. So that is a completely free way to do it. As far as steaming and your humidifier, you wanna make sure that you are using distilled water. Even though we have really clean water here in New York City, there's still like bacteria in there, and you've heard like, has anyone heard of these horror stories of people steaming and bacteria like getting into their brain and then they die? So you don't wanna die. So use distilled water, obviously. Not an expert, obviously. Dumbass, all right? A lot of these are really common sense things, but it's the same thing with fitness. It's common sense. You should work out to stay healthy. Does everyone do it? No. So I just wanted to share my little tips and tricks that my ENT shared with me to really prevent not only what I went through, which is actually really minor at the end of the day, but to prevent you from having it be worse, where you have a vocal hemorrhage, where you have to have surgery. And those are all really serious things. So by implementing even just one of these things into your daily routine, it's gonna help a lot with your vocal health. So if you wanna see more videos, definitely hit that subscribe button. I will see you all soon.